Hey guys, what's up? It's Navarro Head Trader Penny Stocks Club 13, and this is a quick trade recap for the week of February 28th through March the 4th. Quick disclaimer, everything I say is for educational purposes. You trade at your own risk. I'm not telling you what to buy, what to sell. So with that out of the way, guys, let's get it going. Now I do want to touch on some points. If you are a member in the PSC 13 website, I really do want to reiterate that if you follow the rules, the trading rules that I have, or if you have your own and you're following your rules, then I'm going to touch on some of those points and you're going to understand why it's so important to stick to those rules and how that can help you become a successful day trader / swing trader. So I'm going to start with the failed trades and then move on to the winning trades. And keep in mind that some of the winning trades I cut and then I jump back in, and that's one of the rules that I have, right? So let's go ahead and get to it, guys. Let's go ahead and start with SPCB. So SPCB, I had the idea that it was trading above the 50, the 9, and the 20 EMA, somewhere here in this green candles. I believe I called it here because I wanted it to break out and just have some continuation. That didn't happen. As you can see, it's a failed trade. Now it's trading below the 9, the 50, and the 20. You can see that, and that's what happens. Sometimes the best setups fail. You had good volume, then you had an increasing volume on this green day, but all of a sudden volume died and then it's just steadily coming back down. Now, does that mean that this will automatically be a non-trade? No, that's why we set alerts. We continue setting alerts. If it comes back up, then we'll be ready for it. But again, you cut it, you cut your losses, and move that money to somewhere where you're gonna have a better setup, right? Something that's in play. This one might be in play a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, mid-year. We don't know, but we still keep our alerts there and keep on watching it. So that's a failed swing trade. Then we have UEC, would have been a successful trade. Mind you, I did not trade it properly, but it's due to I did not take profits here, came back down, and I just sold it here for just a break even. It was basically a non-event. Nothing happened. I broke even. That's fine. And then the following day it opened up higher, and that's just the way it goes. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Sometimes you get scared out depending on your position sizing, and that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes we just allocate too much money in a stock and it scares us out. And there we go. So that's UEC. It could have been a successful trade. If you traded successfully better than me, congratulations. Tends to happen. But nonetheless, we'll be here for another day. AEI, a successful swing trade, but could have been better, guys. I did take some profits up here, but then ended up taking final profits not up here, but down here. And then, of course, it just didn't hold that support at the 20 EMA. But this one could have been a better trade. I consider this one not a successful trade for me because the execution on my part was just a mess. It was a mess, and for that reason, even though I was profitable in this trade, I really didn't take profits when I had to. So for that reason, I consider this one not a successful trade. AEI, next one, Hook. So Hook, again, same thing. I believe we entered on this day and then it just opened lower, so it just flushed. We entered here. I did not take profits here. It flushed during after hours. I had to cut it during after hours on this day after hours, and look at the following 2-3 days. It's still continuing lower. We'll set alerts. If it comes back up, then we'll be ready for it. But it still needs to reclaim all those EMAs and trade above it, just like the setups that we have here. I mean, the setup was here, and just to let you know, like I mentioned before, like I mentioned in the chat room, Even the best setups tend to fail. And just look at this setup, guys. You got the push, curling action, and then just a complete flush. Now, sometimes this happens when you're close to earnings. It might be that, or it might just be that people are just not interested in hook. You know, we don't know. In any case, I mean, we try it. If we continue seeing this pattern here, we're going to continue to try and trade this pattern that we know that can work, and it has worked for us. And we continue to try it. We're never going to give up on the pattern because we know it's a successful pattern when it works. But we also got to be aware that if it doesn't work, we just got to cut it. You can't just stick to it and stick to your guns and say, I'm going to stick to this trade and it's going to work, because the stock market doesn't care what you want. It's going to do what it wants. And you just got to cut and protect your account. That's just the way it is. There's no other way to look at it, in my opinion. So those are some of the trades that could have been good, were not, but we roll with the punches and we continue going, guys. So let's go ahead and go to some of the successful day trades and swing trades. I'm gonna start with SXTC. This one was a day trade and we traded on this day. I'm gonna go to the 5-day, 5-minute. So we traded it here. Let me go ahead and zoom out and kind of go into the previous day to get some type of info as far as why and how I traded this one, where my entry was, where my exit was. I'm gonna be switching between time frames so you can understand. Again, this is a 5-day, 5-minute. This is giving me 5 days and every candle is a 5-minute candle. So if we look at some levels here, we got this previous opening high, opening range right there, and that's exactly where it was flagging when we traded it on this day. So this is where I called it out, right at that 20-cent level. And I said, and I remember correctly, and you can go back and double check me on this on the chat room. I said SXTC is ready to make a huge move. It's primed. I think my exact words, it's primed for a huge move. And lo and behold, here we go. Now, how did I get to the 32-cent level as far as my profit target? Let's go ahead and go to the 1 year, 1 day. Very simple, guys. The 50 EMA was around that level. Did not quite get there, but that's why you want to go ahead and take profits before it even gets there. You want to start logging them in. And then I started noticing that it was trading heavy around that level, meaning that it was hard. It was becoming a lot harder for it to continue moving higher around this level. So I just I didn't cut my losses. I took my profits and moved on, and just didn't worry about whether it continued moving at another 100% or another 200% higher. I didn't care. I locked in my profits and I moved on without hesitating, because sometimes what happens is we take profits early, and then the next time we say, oh, you know what, next time I'm gonna hold it longer. And then we try to hold it longer and the thing just crashes on us, and then we didn't even lock profits, and now we're either taking less profits or we're cutting losses. And that's a bad habit to form. We gotta lock profits when we say we're gonna lock profits. If our plan says take profits at 30 cents and the stock is at 30 cents, you gotta lock in profits. You gotta lock them in, guys. Stick to your plan, stick to your trade, and then move on. And that's it. Regardless whether it continues going up another 1000%, sometimes we just gotta do that just to be disciplined enough for every single trade that we trade. So that's SXTC day trade opportunity. Just a beautiful, guys, beautiful. I want to say about 50% return. That's what I got on my small account. And on my main account, of course, scaled out, so it was a little less, but a lot more profits because it was bigger size. So yeah, that was about a 50% return. So that was great, guys. And let's go ahead and go to USWS. Same thing here, guys. We had this high here. We did enter here, and I took profits somewhere here in the morning, and then it just continued chopping around and it continued higher. But again, I didn't hold on for the bigger move, and that sometimes happens. It happened to me. It might continue happening, but that's USWS. SNMP, this one is a current swing trade. It's an active swing trade on my small account. So let's go ahead and look at the pattern right now. Again, similar pattern, pushes over the 50, the 9, and the 20. You got this 9 EMA crossing over the 20. That's your first bullish signal, right? That's your first sign that it might have a bullish momentum coming. You got this huge move with huge volume. You see this huge candle. This is good price action with good volume. That's what we want to see. Okay, what we would have hated to see, guys, this is what you need to keep in mind. When you see this huge volume and then you see the price action being something, let me go ahead and do it a little better. The price action just being something like this, a smaller candle, then it's got to worry you. If you have something that does not match the volume, if you have something that does a candle that's this big and it does not match the volume here, then that's got to worry you. Something's off, right? But in this case, you got a large and a huge price action with a huge increase in volume, which is good, right? That's setting the stage for what's to come. Now you got a flag consolidation, support at the 50, and then now the 9 EMA crossed this bullish, or the 20, creating a bullish signal, and then it also crossed the 50. So you got two bullish signals right now, right? And you got an increase in volume on this day. So you got a bullish signal, increase in volume, all bullish signs, meaning that it's trying to get or go higher. Then you got a breakout level here. So you got multiple catalysts that can send this skyrocketing, which it did. One bullish signal, two bullish signals, you got good volume, and then you got this possible breakout level. It broke out of it. So hopefully, again, we don't know what's gonna happen, but it looks, signs point to a continuation, and we got room all the way to the 180 SMA. That's to around the 90-cent level, guys. That's a significant, from our entry, which was at 59, 60 cents, depending on your entry. But when I called it out, my main target was 60 as entry. And if it does get all the way up to 90, that's about a 50% return. That's a huge move, guys, if it gets there, but I would like to take profits along the way just to put some money in my pocket and not worry about stressing out whether it's gonna get there or not. XCUR, another day trade. Let me go ahead and go to the 5-day, 5-minute. It was actually a swing trade and then a day trade, right? We took profits. We bought it here. I called it out. I took profits here. And then I day traded it at the break of, I believe, 25. That's when I called it out. If you do not believe me, go back into the chat room. I called it out at 25. That was my entry. I got out at 31.50 or so. It's all in the chat room. It's all recorded there, and you all know it's real time call out. So again, swing trade, took profit, then day traded it, took profit. So just a huge return on XCUR on the swing trade and day trade opportunity that it gave us. So that's the way you gotta see the market. Expect this kind of moves when there's volume. I mean, just look at this increasing volume as it's making its move, guys. Incredible compared to everything else. Just a lot of relative volume there. Beautiful setup. And sorry, I meant to go to the 1 year, 1 day to kind of see the pattern here. So you got this little curling action, breaks over the 9 and the 20. You got a bullish signal here. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little more, just kind of make it a little better for you guys. So we got this possible crossover, which it did. So there's your first bullish signal. Slight increase in volume. That's why I called it out, and I just wanted to go all the way to the 50 EMA. That's where we took profit, or I took profits in the morning. I told you all I did. I hope you all did too. And then I day traded it at the 25-cent level, which is near here, and a push to the, I actually thought it was gonna go to 34, like I mentioned in the chat room, but it started looking heavy, this one at the same price as SXTC at 32 cents, and that's where I decided to take the rest of my profits and move on. KAVL, this one was just one successful swing trade, guys. We have this huge push, flag pattern, beautiful flag pattern, guys. This is just perfect. We got increasing volume on this huge push here, and then we got decreasing volume. So you can see the increasing volume here. Then when it's flagging, when you have this descending wedge, this is a flag, you want to see decreasing volume. You want to see the volume go down, right? When it's making a move, you want the volume to go up. When it's going up, this is momentum. Then when it's consolidating, when it's flagging, you want the volume to go down. Okay, you don't want volume increasing when the price action is going down. You don't want volume increasing because that means it's gonna pop down, it's gonna break down. Okay, and right now volume is relatively low, but we have a breakout right here. This is the attempt of the breakout, that candle, but then we get the breakout the following day. Right now it broke out of this wedge pattern. You see the little wedge here, this descending wedge? Then this is the breakout day and a slight increase in volume. Now remember that sometimes the breakouts don't happen in just one day, they don't take off. Sometimes it breaks out and then it kind of curls, consolidates, comes back down, and then boom, it pops again. So this one is still on watch. We want to watch that $3 level. That's our entry. But we want to see the volume really increase when it starts breaking out, right? Right now the relative volume right here, or not the relative volume, the overall volume is kind of just very low. But if we start seeing an increase as it's breaking 3, then we want to jump in and maybe carry this one for 2 to 3 days on a continuation play. So that's what we're looking at, guys. It's just an incredible week. Huge money to be made on some of these trades. 50% return, 30% return, 25% return, another 40% return. Right now we currently have IMPP at 65% return, guys. If we look at IMPP, you know, this says nothing, but let's go ahead and go to the 1 day 3 minute. Look at this, guys. Boom, just huge, right around the $4 level right now. Just a huge monster squeeze, guys. Just beautiful. And of course SNMP, I still believe it's barely starting to get going, and it's sitting right on top of that 60-cent level, which is a critical breakout level. And hopefully in the morning on Monday we get that little squeeze and then some continuation during the day. We lock in profits and we move on, guys. So guys, that is it for me. We'll catch you in the next one.